Welcome to TAE40122 Certificate IV in Training and Assessment, Assessment Tips and Instructions for the Knowledge Evidence component for your assessments. During your course, you'll be required to answer some knowledge evidence questions as a requirement of the National Unit of Competency that you're being assessed in. These questions are to help you show your understanding of the knowledge that sits underneath the performance that you're actually undertaking with some of the other tasks. You're required to complete these questions during your study and research. All answers must be your own work. So really importantly here, plagiarism will not be accepted. They don't need to be lengthy responses though, and we've provided a definition guide to help you get a bit of a feel for how you could sufficiently answer each of the questions. So let's have a look at the definitions guide that we've provided you with here. And also don't forget, each of the responses that you provide must relate to the vocational education and training sector. So in the table in orange for each of these, they all stay the same for the whole qualification. You're required to answer the questions, and the questions will have the terminology that's used in the first column. So the term gives you the type of question that you're looking for. The second column looks at the number of words that you would use to sufficiently respond to that question. And the third column gives you a bit of a description. The easiest one and the one that most people love answering are the lists, but it's also a little bit of a tricky one too. So here's a little bit of a tip. If it says list 5 adult learning principles, then please make sure for you to get a satisfactory response, you need to list 5. 4 will lead to a resubmission. The word outline means just a general description, 10 to 25 words. Briefly explain builds on that with 25 to 50 words, and it means that you should summarise, but keep it nice and clear and concise. Provide an example means that you should be providing us with a real workplace example based on the vocational education and training sector. That example could be something that you have applied in the past, or it could be the way that you would apply that particular topic in the future. From there, we move down to explain, describe, and compare. Explain, a little bit more detail, 50 to 75 words. Describe means give a detailed account. In this case, you may need to explain a number of steps on how you would do something. An example could also help you to get those words up to ensure that you really are describing and showing us a fuller understanding of the topic that you're responding to. Compare means that you would actually have 2 words and you're going to compare and contrast those, which could be just as similar, as easy as going, here are the things that make these 2 topics similar, and here are the 2 things that make them different. And last but not least, research or reference. There are a number of questions in each of the units where you do need to reference relevant sites, and you will need to research some of the areas that we use all the time in the vocational education and training sector. Importantly, you do not have to provide Harvard referencing here. It could be just as simple as giving us the name of the textbook or the name of the journal that you've read, the TED Talk maybe that you've watched, or the website that you've actually visited to get those responses. So just remember, that definitions guide is just a guide. Last but not least, we need to also look at, what do I need to submit? Well, you need to submit responses to each of the questions, and these will be provided for you on Canvas as a Word document that you can download and then upload quite simply. And we have some easy videos for you to watch on how to do that. Hope this definitions guide and this explanation with some little tips throughout it has actually helped you or will help you to complete the questions required for each of the units.